When you think about the forebearers of American freedom, we might often think about famous founding fathers such as George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. But one that I guarantee none of us would think of, or one that almost no one knows ever existed, would be Frederick Hall, also known by his alias that he used to enlist in the U.S. military as Private William Williams. Private William Williams fought valiantly during the War of 1812 at Fort McHenry against the British bombardment and even gave his life for the cause of freedom. And it was as a result of Frederick Hall and various other American patriots that after the Battle of Baltimore, despite a severe British bombardment, the flag of the United States of America waved. As in the words of Francis Scott Key, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. It was during that effort to preserve our young country that Frederick Hall had his leg blown off by a cannonball, and after the battle remained in the hospital for around 6 months before dying of his injuries. After hearing that quick backstory into the life of Private William Williams, one might wonder how much they are willing to give for the future of their country. They would also recognize the great devotion to the cause of liberty and freedom that William Williams had. But in the end, what makes him different from the other millions of men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect the freedom of their country? At first glance, William Williams or Frederick Hall might be set aside or set at naught. But that is why you shouldn't judge a book by the summary that someone gives you. Because in reality, Frederick Hall has a story unlike any other, and one that shows what it truly means to be an American patriot. Because what sets Private William Williams apart from any of the other men there at Fort McHenry was that he was an escaped slave. An escaped slave that joined the military to protect the future of this country. His country. When giving a brief overview of Private William Williams, the National Park Service stated that, quote, some, like Williams, defended a home that they would never be a full citizen of. Private William Williams wasn't fighting to maintain the status quo, but he was fighting for a revolutionary idea. The idea that all men are born free and are endowed with freedom and rights by that God who created them. What makes his story extraordinary is that the British were offering freedom to any slave that would join their ranks. Frederick Hall could have joined the British and immediately received his freedom. But Frederick Hall wasn't just any slave. He was a forebearer of freedom and an example to us all of fighting for something better than ourselves. He was fighting for a belief that would free every single slave across the surface of this continent. Though not then or even his lifetime, he was fighting for an idea that would change the world. Like Private Williams or Frederick Hall, we are encountered with a choice, and a choice that can change not just this country, but the world. And while it doesn't mean physically giving up our life or having our leg blown off by a cannonball, that doesn't make it any less important. Because we've been given a country by divine guidance and inspiration, and what we do with it matters. We've had individuals such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, Samuel Adams, and even individuals that came later, such as Abraham Lincoln. Individuals that crafted and shaped our country into what it is today. And it is our responsibility to continue their vision and model for America. A strong foundation with a house built on it has no purpose if the house has been shattered by a storm. But what threatens the United States the most isn't an attack from forces outside our country. It's the corruption of our values from the inside. Because a God-fearing nation in relentless pursuit of liberty and freedom has no threat but itself. If we as a country forget the foundation that's been built by our forebears, it will be as if there was never a foundation at all. And as we come up on our country's 250th anniversary, we have the responsibility to remember our founding and the principles that it was founded upon. We have the responsibility to hold these truths self-evident. That man is endowed with liberty by God, and that man is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that if we as a nation forget our identity and forget that we are created in the image of God, then our policies and actions do not have as great an importance. When we have no respect for the Creator, we will have no respect for the creation. And as I conclude, I encourage all of you to have courage like Private William Williams and stand up for what you know is right, and always defend the idea that there's something greater than ourselves, and that all man are endowed with liberty by their Creator. And as we come up our 250th anniversary, ensure that those principles will never die with us, but continue forever.